Hi, my name is Forrest Coleman. I'm an assistant investigator at the Allen Institute for Brain Science in Seattle, Washington. In this video, I'm going to orient you to some of the features of Neuroglancer that are specific to annotations and the Sung Labs fork of the project. Here we have a link that was generated programmatically, designed to highlight all the synapses onto this excitatory neuron shown here in 3D. We have three layers in this view: the image layer, the segmentation layer, and this synapses layer, which is an annotation layer. If you right-click on each of the layers, you get information on the right-hand side that shows you more details and options about that layer. When you do so to the synapses layer, you see some options you might not be familiar with. So here we have a list of points that represent all of the synapses onto this neuron. And above that list, you can see a set of options which control how those synapses are displayed. So if, for example, you uncheck this filter by segmentation button, you're going to see all of the synapses show up in 3D. Now, if you left-click on one of those synapses, the view is going to be transported to the location of that synapse, both in the 2D view, which you might zoom a little bit closer on, and in the 3D view. So if we take a look at this synapse here, we can see that the synapse is just inside the mesh slightly, so we can't quite see it right. So if we move back to the segmentation options, we can reduce the opacity in order to see more clearly that there are two synapses in the tip of this spine. Zooming out a little bit, we can look at this bouton, and if we double-click on the location of that bouton, we're going to turn on the segmentation of the object that is on the presynaptic side of this synapse. We can see it here in cyan. And zooming out, we can see that this axon is in fact part of a much larger reconstruction of a cell with a cell body. Now, it's somewhat difficult to see what's going on here because we've got all of the synapses onto this neuron along with the extensive axon from this basket cell. So to fix that, we can go back to the segmentation layer and uncheck the blue neuron to turn it off, and we can re-enable this filter by segmentation option. Now you can more clearly see what this option is meant for. Here we see that there are not one, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 synapses from this basket cell that are in this annotation layer. So this means, in fact, that this cell contacts the excitatory neuron in 7 distinct locations. We can see that more clearly if we turn the blue neuron back on again. And we can go look at another location, zoom in, and see indeed, in this spot, the basket cell synapses onto the soma of this neuron. Rather than manually clicking on each of the presynaptic axons, we can instead review these synapses in a more automated way, using this bracket shortcuts show segmentation option. First, we want to deselect the axon before turning this option on, and then we can use the bracket keys on our keyboard to move through the annotations on the list. And each time we press the bracket forward button, it's going to automatically highlight the presynaptic axon associated with that synapse. The reason why it does that is that each of these synapses has an ID associated with them, shown down here. And Neuroglancer is programmed to automatically highlight the ID associated with those annotations. So now we've got a basic idea how to navigate. What if you want to start taking down some more detailed observations about these synapses? So if we go back to this synapse that had two synapses, we might make a note that this is a duly innervated spine. Now that's a free-form field down here in the description, but sometimes it's useful to take more structured annotations. So if you go to the Shortcuts tab up here, we can add multiple shortcuts with stereotype tags. So here I've added 4 shortcuts, and let's name them. Say I'm interested in identifying whether synapses are onto spines, dendritic shafts, or somas. I typically skip the Shift W option because it's too close to the Control W, which will close your window. But now I've set up these shortcuts, I can go back to the annotation list and I can hit Shift plus the letter Q to add the hashtag spine tag to that neuron. If I hit it again, it'll go away. And this way the tags are kind of toggleable. In fact, you can make multiple tags on the same annotation, so I could have this with spine and shaft. Of course, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So now I can use the bracket keys to go to the next location, and in this location, I can see if I zoom in a bit that this synapse is in fact onto the dendritic shaft of this neuron. So I'll tag it with the shaft hashtag. In this way, you can take really structured annotations. And at the end, if you're interested in getting the data, you can hit this Export to CSV button, and then you're going to get a spreadsheet which will contain all of the annotations in your layer, along with what tags were applied and whatever descriptions you had in a structured format. So I hope this video has been useful to teach you a little bit about the options that are available for navigating through annotations in Neuroglancer. And you can use this information to explore the data set and find some interesting phenomena.